Hey, this is Mr. Guiles, Mr. G, whatever you want to call me. With today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to draw with basic shapes. We learned how to use the basic shape tools the other day, and today we're going to take one of these drawings here. We got a skeleton, a choo-choo train, a panda, a guy, robot, brobot we'll call him, and this really kind of cool looking cat, but it's like a different, kind of got shading to it. You can do coloring and shading on any of these later, but I want you to see if we can get the basic shapes. So to start, I'm going to click on one of the pictures, or not. I'm going to right click on the picture. I'm going to right click on the skeleton. So I want everyone, if you're following along at home, try this one with me. We're going to right click on the skeleton and say copy image. So I'm going to put my mouse over the picture of the skeleton, right click, and copy image. Now I'm going to go open paint.net if it's not already open. Okay? And I am going to use the shortcut key Control V. And I have pasted my skeleton. I'm going to stretch him out so he's a little bigger because I want to have a nice large picture on my screen. So I'm going to put him on my screen, stretch him out so that he fits the screen a little better. Then I'm going to hit the Enter key so I can get rid of those dotted lines or marching ants. And you should see the box disappear. All right. There we go. There's 2 steps. We're doing great. Step 3. We're going to create a new layer. This is a good habit to get into whenever you're working with graphic design, is to add a layer and do work on a separate layer so that if you want to go back and fix it, you can. So to do and add a new layer, I'll just show again. You click on the little green piece. There's a piece of paper with a plus sign in the bottom right-hand corner of your layers menu. If you don't see your layers menu, it's up here, and you can turn it on and off right there. Okay, so making a new layer. All right. And who knows the shortcut for new layers? Say it if you know it. Control, Shift, N. Good job. This is, by the way, shout out to Period 2, who's here for this. Like, every Period 2 can go, yay! Yay! All right, there's Period 2. So they can say, I was on that video. Now, to make this shape, most of the shapes are squares and a couple triangles, right? If you look at it, the basics are. So let's go to our Shapes tool, which is right here at the bottom. And that's going to give us these options. We're going to start with the square that kind of is in the middle of the whole skeleton. So I'm going to click on the shape options here at the top where it says, mine says rectangle. And I want to select rectangle. Oh, look, they've even got bent shapes. So we can use some of these different shapes. So I'm going to use rectangle. And I'm going to start by getting a rectangle. And I'm going to make sure it's black. And I'm going to make it a little bit thicker, like, I don't know, 4? Yeah, 4 looks good. Now look at this. I can move it, and I can stretch it, and I can adjust it so that it fits perfectly on top of the skeleton. Okay? And that's the first thing I want to do. Then I'm going to hit the Enter key. Boom. All right? I'll show you one other thing. Everyone double-click on the background layer. Just click twice. Click, click. And it's going to open up the layer properties. I'm going to make the background layer see-through more, like this. See what I did there? I'm going to make it so I can see that checkerboard a little bit. See how I did that? And that's going to help me so I can see my dark lines better. All right? So to do that again, I wanted to repeat that one more time. I double-click on the background layer, and then I drag the transparency. So that means it makes it see-through or transparent or opaque. Opacity. That's what that means. Okay? So I'm going to make it opacity of 159. Doesn't matter the exact number. Okay, now let's go ahead and make these little rectangles. Let's use that same shape and make the little rectangles. And I'm just going to drag them. They do not have to be exactly the same. And you can make those a little less thick if you want, like a 3 or a 2. Okay, and I'm going to do those. I'm going to hit Enter after each shape that I draw. There's one. These do not have to match exactly. We just want to make sure we have them. These are like his ribcage bones, right? This is a skeleton. These are his ribcage bones. I always start from the left and drag to the right, but you could start from the top right and drag to the bottom left. I'm going to undo those and just show you one more time. So I click and I hold and drag down and to the right. And then I hit Enter. It's important you hit Enter. Now the next part that I'm going to show you is going to help you make the rest of the skeleton. And I'll show you in a second why you need to know how to do this. Now, any of the shapes here, like in fact, look at the shape beneath him is another rectangle. So I'm just going to do that one right away because that's easy. What is the problem with these other rectangles, everybody? What's the problem with them? Can someone tell me why these other rectangles are going to be a little tricky? Why are these rectangles going to be tricky? Yeah, we have to turn them sideways. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. Right now, I'm just going to draw a rectangle out like this that looks like, okay, his arm's going out straight like that. Everyone draw that. Now watch what happens. Don't hit enter. See how you have this arrow? If I click and drag, boom, I can rotate that. There we go. Now look, I know that it's not perfect, and if you can see, his arm is like the lines are overlapping and stuff. If you're worried about that, create a new layer. Stick that on the new layer. In fact, I'm gonna undo. Maybe I'll put that arm on its own layer. I'm gonna make another layer and stick it on there. Okay, and I'm gonna draw that shape out again, and then to turn it, you just let go of your mouse and see right now as you move your mouse near it, you have this like little arrow thing. I'm gonna rotate it and I'm gonna move it in position so that it's kind of in the right spot. Oops. I'm gonna use this handle. I'm going to stick it so that it lines up pretty well with the other one. There you go. And I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to leave that on its own layer. And I'm going to name that layer right upper arm. Or you could just write right U arm. Just so you know that's that part of the arm. I'm going to do the same thing with these other shapes. The head looks like it's two circles. If you look at the head, it's basically two circles. So if I go to the circles, I'm going to make a circle for the top part of his head. See that? And then I'm going to put that on its own layer, I think. Well, I'm going to hit escape. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. I'm going to have a head layer. All right, so is everyone with me? All right, I'm going to continue this, and I'm going to show you kind of where I end up. But I'm going to pause right there and let you try and figure some of this out. Okay, all my students just told me that I should explain how to do the head. If you look at the head, I'm not an artist. I'm trying. I'm spending time practicing drawing every day a little bit. I'm trying to sketch a little bit at home on my own with pencils. But what I discovered is that most drawings that I've seen are basically just combinations of shapes. So if you look at this head, it looks like there's a circle and then another circle. Like his head is just two overlapping circles and they erase the middle. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to go to the ellipse tool, select it. I'm going to create my own layer. I'm going to call it head. So I click this and made it head. And I'm going to drag out a circle. Now, right now, that's like really thick. So I'm going to de-thickenate that. That's not a word, but I just made it up. De-thickenate. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now I can just drag it until it doesn't need to be perfect. Because I'm going to turn off the background layer when I'm done. Oh, I failed. Look at that. I drew some of my stuff on the other layer. Oh, well. That's okay. That's all right. We all make mistakes. So there's my first part. Then I'm going to draw the second circle. I'm going to draw the second circle so it matches the bottom half of his face. And that looks about right. I'm going to stretch it up just a little bit. Now I'm going to erase. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to get my eraser tool. And I'm going to set my eraser tool to be a slightly larger size, like let's say 10. That's pretty good. And I'm going to click. I'm just going to click 1, 2. I'm going to click. I don't like holding it for too long because then I accidentally erase too much stuff. So I'm going to get right next to the edge. And if you want, you can get the magnifying glass, zoom in so you can see really good here. Okay, and then use the eraser. See that? I can really see what I'm doing here. And now I have a really good skeleton outline. That's awesome. Look at me. I'm really good at this. You're so talented. Thanks, Mr. Guiles. Okay, now, Mr. Guiles is talking to himself. All right, now I'm going to go and I'm going to draw his little, I'm just going to trace his smile. His little bone smile. If I mess up, what's the control key I'm going to press if I make a mistake? Control Z. I did such a good one, I don't need to do Control Z. So, but I might make another mistake. There's an eye. I'm just going to click once for the eyes. And then I'm going to make my thing even bigger for his nose, like a 9 here. Boom. What? That looks perfect. I nailed his head, I think. I like his eyes. Oh, you know what? I want his eyes a lot bigger. I'm actually going to go with big eyes. Too big? I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like, you know what? I'm going to undo. I'm going to go halfway. I'm going to go to like, I don't know, 20. I like big skeleton eyes. I think it looks kind of fun that way. All right, so now I'm going to zoom back out. Control minus is the shortcut key if you want to zoom out. And I'm going to continue his arms. I'm going to do both of his upper arms on the same layer. And guess what? I'm going to do erasing on the upper arm. I'm going to erase these lines right here. Yep. Boom. And I'm going to erase the lines that shouldn't be here, I think. Right there, maybe? And I'm going to go ahead and add it. So I'm going to do his other upper arm. And we're going to keep working on this. And there's nothing else that's really tricky. This is like a trapezoid shape, and I don't know if we have let me look at my shapes here. Let's see if I have a trapezoid. There are some, oh, look at this. There's a parallelogram. So I can actually drag out a parallelogram, and I'm going to make that way skinnier. And then I can angle the parallelogram. Look at that. Parallelogram. Boom. It actually is perfect. Almost perfect. Wow. We have everything we need here in Paint.net. Thank you, Paint.net. You're the best. Now, if you'll notice, I put that on the upper right arm. So I'm gonna escape. Actually, since I put it there, I'm gonna add another layer. Use my plus sign there, and I'm gonna call this legs. And I'm gonna highlight this. I'm gonna cut it. Control X. Oops. I'm sorry. It was on his upper arm. Control X. It was on that layer. I'm going to go to the leg layer, Control V, paste. Now it's on the right layer. I moved it. I just changed layers like a boss. I'm going to keep working on my skeleton. I will show you the final results, but you guys get the picture. That's how you make a cool shape thing. The last thing that you should all be aware of when using Paint.net is that you need to save. So everybody with me right now, if you're in my classroom, or if you are on the classroom on the interweb, you are going to do this with me too. You're going to go to File. Everyone say File. Save as. And we're going to save it. Now, we save it in a particular place. We would save it in our H drive. If you're playing along at home, you save it where you want to. A lot of people will save to pictures or documents, or your desktop. If you're a messy person who likes putting everything on your desktop, I do. You can see, if you saw my desktop, you'd know what I'm saying. I'm going to click on my H drive, and my students are going to put it in their H drive. And we're going to just call this, what do we want to call this? Skeleton. Oh, Sans, or you can call it Sans. I'm going to call it Bones Sans. If you know Sans, that's an Undertale reference. And I'm going to save it. And we're going to give us a few more minutes to do this, and then we're going to move to our game reviews because I don't want to miss out on our game reviews today. Okay, so have a great day. This is Mr. Guiles. I will post this tutorial. Oh, you've already watching this, so it's already posted. So why am I saying that? I don't know. Okay, have a great day. Bye. Okay, one other trick I want to share about drawing the skeleton is that you could just use the line tool. So if I take the line tool and I just draw across, hit enter, and draw another line, I just connect the two lines. I mean, that's a pretty quick way of doing this. So if you're having trouble working with the shapes and turning them around, consider doing the draw the line tool. And by the way, the line tool is awesome, and you have a lot of cool tricks you can do with the line tool, but I'm finding that this might actually be a lot easier drawing with the line tool. I'm going to just connect it like that. Oh, I like the line tool. I should have just used the line tool the whole time. But you know what? We're learning here, right? This is a learning process. So I'm going to connect it here, and I like that the feet are parallelograms. I could have left that open, but I don't care, because this is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about trying new things and figuring it out. And I just figured out that, wow, I can work a lot faster. I have my left hand on the enter key and my right hand on my mouse, and I am just like cranking these shapes. Like, this is way faster. Note to self: don't use the shape tools when you could use the line tool. Wow. Boom. Done. There's my skeleton. I'm going to zoom out so you can see the whole thing. There you go. Now I'm going to turn off the background layer. I failed. If you can see, I totally failed because I put a couple things. I'm going to fill those in right now because I'm a completionist here. I want to get that stuff. I know I said not perfect, but I'm going to do rib cages and his pelvis bones all in one layer. I am going to use the shape tool because I can do it faster with the shape tool. So this is a quicker process for me than drawing. Like if I were to draw all those individual lines, those tiny lines, I think it would actually take me more time. So I'm going to make them get smaller, just like a rib cage would do. Just a bonus feature on my drawing, I guess. And then I'm going to do this connecting bone that was there. Let's turn that layer back on just to make sure. Yep, I think I got all the things. Now I'm going to add another layer. I'm going to clean this whole design up. I can drag my layer down. I'm going to clean this layer up by adding the white background. And then if I want to get really fancy, maybe I'll find like a Halloween castle. There we go. I'm going to take this Halloween castle and I'm going to copy that picture. And I'm going to go back into my image and I'm going to paste this. I'm going to make another layer. Paste it, drag it out. Now my skeleton, there's a problem here. He's kind of dark lines and there's a dark background, so I need to fill him in with white. So I'm going to get my white and I'm going to turn off the white layer so I can see. And there's holes in my skeleton, so he's leaking the white color. So that's not going to work for this one. So I'm going to skip the castle for this design. I'm just going to go with the white background. But if I had closed all of the shapes, I could fill in the white and it would be a solid white color. So there's a whole lot of things you can do. There's lots of shapes. You could try some of these different designs, like the choo-choo train. You want to get a little more advanced. There's some advanced shading you can do with this cat. But for now, have fun drawing with your computer. This is Mr. G signing out. Have a great day. Happy Halloween. Maybe when you draw this, it'll be Halloween. So, see you later. Peace out.